Hello, my name is Jocelyn. I'm here with my boyfriend's dad. I'm going to interview him on his second language. To start off, he'll begin by giving a little background about himself.
My name is Jorge Gutierrez, and I was born in Zacapu, Michoacan, in Mexico. My first language was Spanish, and when I came to the United States, it was when I was about 17 years old. Um, and my second language now is English. Um,
How did you feel when you first came to the United States?
the first time when I came to United States, I felt lost. I feel like that it was I was a foreign, but I was really lost because I could not communicate, with other people.
How long have you been speaking English for?
I've been speaking English for about 30 years since my arrival.
Oh, wow. And what motivated you in learning English?
Well, first of all, is what motivated me was my job. I used to work in the fields. I worked in the fields for about 10 years. However, I went to school, uh, and then I started in a new job where English was required. Then I was pushed and pressured to start speaking in English.
Okay. I noticed that you have an accent. How do you feel about that?
I don't pay too much attention to my Spanish, and sometimes I think it's something I want to keep. I have tried to avoid my accent. However, I think that I need to be original. I will never probably won't experience accent, but I feel good with my accent.
Okay. Was there someone to guide you along in the way when you were learning English?
Yes, but through my experience learning English, I went to different schools to learn English as second language, adult school, and I think different teachers, were guiding me. And also, one of the things that I thought was that at one point my kids will be speaking English, then I have to, in a way, to prepare myself to be ready by that for that time.
Is there something that the teachers ever did like to help you learn the language more?
I could say like I had bad experiences with teachers and a good experience with teachers. And the good experience that I had with teachers were that I mean they encouraged me to talk and not care about my accent, but just try it again and again and practice it, practicing more my English. And I think that's one of the things that I remember from them that even though I sometimes I make mistakes on my when I speak English, that I can say I'm sorry, and then I can rephrase or ask for help from other people.
Okay. Was learning the language easy or hard for you?
It was a hard. I think it was even it was hard experience. Even though when I was in school in Mexico, I took some classes of English as second language. When I came over here, it was totally different. It was totally different. And because mostly because I was going to school with Latinos, and the Latinos used to make fun of me, and I think about that was a traumatizing experience. That even nowadays, when I speak with another Latino in English, that makes me feel uncomfortable because that kind of makes me remember when I was learning English, and the hard part of English, learn English, that the people used to laugh about my pronunciation.
Was there any words that you mixed up while you were learning English?
Oh yeah, mostly sometimes I used to kind of give the same pronunciation of the words in English than in Spanish, like politics. I used to say politics. And even sometimes nowadays I still need to remember myself that it's not politics, but it's politics. then that's one of the things that I had issues with.
Did you ever feel anxiety because you were learning the language and didn't know it well?
Oh yes, I experienced a lot of anxiety, and mostly because sometimes when I was working in the fields, I make my best effort to practice my English with older co-workers, Latino co-workers, but they were laughing about me. Then it was kind of making no sense to me to learn English, but I wanted to learn English because my neighbors were Anglos or white people, and then I felt really anxious because I could not communicate in a positive manner with them. Then that makes me feel a lot of anxiety.
So you were scared to speak up, right?
Yes, I was very scared because my insecurities about not learning or not knowing, not expressing myself well in English, make me feel really afraid I was gonna make mistakes.
How do you feel that it got better? Do you think it got better or
It got better because I went to college. I took college at English in college level, practicing more, and I got in my head that even though I was making mistake, I had to practice it and practice it and practice it. And also, I started reading, books in English, and that helped me, a great deal too.
Okay. Was there any words that you avoided on saying because you were feared that you were not saying it right?
Yes. One of them, it is like citizen. I used to say citizen and or Toyota, and it's Toyota. Then sometimes I didn't like to pronounce those words.
Like even today, do you feel like you ever switch both languages in like conversation or in writing?
But at one point, I was doing it because that's when I think about Spanglish was very popular, and I want to copy that. But what I noticed on that is that I was kind of going back, back from my learning English, because Spanglish is half English, half Spanish, or sometimes, not pronouncing it well, some words, and yeah, I at one point I wanted to continue, but I stopped doing that.
So how would you say your English is now? Like, do you feel more confident in talking, speaking it out loud? Do you still feel anxiety?
Somehow I still feel anxiety, and as I said, mostly when I speak, with Latino, people, and but I think I feel confident, that I can, as part of my continued learning, you know, I practice more and new words, and that makes me feel more confident.
Okay. Well, you speak English really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what do you do now? Like, do you help others learn English, or?
Yes, I work in a recovery treatment center, and I've been working there for about 30 years. And now I can see that many of our clients, Spanish is their first language, and the difficulties that they have on communicating with others. Because even though we're a bilingual treatment center, they have the difficulties, and even sometimes the counselors, um, their pronunciation from translation from English to Spanish is totally different. Like I saw an example like embarrassed and embarazado, and it's not really that's not the meaning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I see that. I think I have now the opportunity to practice with the people who speak or they are monolingual Spanish, but also, I mean, they have the opportunity to learn that they're not the only ones who have difficulties, speaking their own native language or Spanish or as a first language. And I see, myself and them because I mean, many of them they want to learn English. However, I mean, sometimes the difficulties of their own lives, it is makes difficult for them to go to school.
Yeah.
And even though I mean, the kids now mostly speak English, I mean, sometimes that they have that um, issue to, I mean, communicate with their own kids, whatever they want to, or how they want to educate them. Um, then I see that, that the first city that I came, when I arrived to the United States was Watsonville. And at that point, it was probably about like 50% Latinos. About 10 years ago, Watsonville was 80% Latinos. Now it is about 95% Latinos in Watsonville. Then sometimes that influence, when you want to learn English, because sometimes we feel so comfortable in our own Spanish that we don't make the effort to, go to school and learn, English. And sometimes, even though it's not something we encourage our kids not to talk English, and because our first language is Spanish, and sometimes we make those mistakes. Then I think of learning English now. I see it as that makes that person, be more valuable, and when we go to ask for employment. 'Cause, I mean, you're being bilingual is great in this country. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for being here, for sharing your experiences and your story, and for your time.
Thank you.